Today is Monday. Happy Monday to you all. Hello, El Snyder. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to wait a couple of moments. Hello, Barista Teresa. Thank you for joining. Mom Shar, thank you for joining. Hello, Mr. Aguilar, I'm thinking. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Hello, Agun Muhammad. Hi, Mom Shar. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. Hello, Barista Teresa. So happy to see you. Hi, Good Home Train. Hello. Okay. So today, for those of you that don't know, I am trying out landscape for the first time. I normally scope in portrait, but today I figured let's try something new. I hope I can see all your comments. Can someone just pop like a hello and tell me where you're from so I can make sure that I am able to see comments in this new format? Can someone say hello? Yay, it's working. Okay, greetings from North Carolina. Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to know where you all are scoping in from. Mom Share says, love your bookcases. Thank you. Thank you. I've had them. I'm in love with books. I buy probably way too many books. But thank you so much for all of you that are joining in today. Hello. For those of you who don't know me or are catching me for the first time. Hi, my name is Brooke-Sidney, and my company is Bella and the Babe, and it's all about empowering authentic motherhood. And hello, Mom Shar from Pennsylvania. Hello, Natural Mama. Thank you for joining. So for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I have been scoping about this treasure. Thank you so much for posting my website, Barista Teresa, bellaandthebabe.com. So you know that I have been scoping about the conscious parent. I have created a book club. I actually have a Mama's community or a Facebook group that dives in deep on all of the topics that we discuss in the conscious parent. And it's also just where all the cool mamas hang out. So you can find out more about that on my site. You can go to bellaandthebabe.com/join. Natural Mom says, how do you get your screen to be like that and not the full view? Hopefully it's working, but I just turned to my landscape view on my phone. It came with the new Periscope update. And for those of you that don't know, for a while Periscope was saying don't update to iOS 9 for those that have iPhones because there were some glitches. So yeah, hopefully it's working because I have been a little hesitant to try. I normally scope. Yay, thanks so much, Mom Shar. I've been hesitant to actually use this format because tried and true was working. It was working amazing. So anyway, yes, we're talking all about the conscious parent. We are in chapter 5 for those of you that have been following along. And today we're actually in I'm calling it section 3, like part 3 of the conscious parent chapter 5, because chapter 5 is so meaty. It is so meaty that I decided to break it up into sections. Viewers, you can flip your phone horizontally to see the full screen. Thank you so much, Shar. Okay, so chapter 5 is all about emotions. Hi, Parenting Buzz. Thank you for joining. It's all about emotions and parenting. And Natural Mama for you says, I love your message. This is very much my parenting. Yay, I love it. I love connecting with you. Yes, you know, all of us that are into a more conscious parenting model, intentional or authentic model, definitely gentle and natural, you're in the right place because that is what I talk about. That is what I promote. Yeah, I'm glad. I feel like Periscope is helping us mamas with maybe the less traditional model find each other and really help other people learn more about it. That's one of the reasons why I'm actually covering this amazing book, because it's so good. It has so much good information, and it's great if people can relate to it. It says, absolutely. So nice to find like-minded moms. Yes, it's so fun. It's so fun. And you know that we're not alone out there. And, you know, I definitely encourage mothers to join the Facebook group and meet other mothers that have a very similar philosophy. It is on Kindle. It's totally on Kindle, Natural Mama. And thank you, Sally, for joining. So today we are talking about how to deal with our emotions, how to integrate our emotions and parenting. And if you haven't caught the other scopes on chapter 5 that are all dealing with emotions and parenting, please feel free to go to my site because they are there. But basically we talked just a quick review about how emotions are there. They can be unseen. So even when you don't think you're upset or don't think you're carrying around something, it could be in your energy. We talked about that. And so that's why it's important for us to make sure that we are reacting from a neutral place and not from an emotionally reactive place, because sometimes we just don't know if we are exhibiting certain emotions. So we talked about that. We talked about facing up to our emotions. We talked about how each of us have an emotional signature and imprint, which is really, really key, because when we were born, when we were babies, we come in basically as a blank slate. And so our parents and the people in our immediate environment imprint their emotional intelligence, or sometimes the lack thereof, onto their children. I just missed that comment. So please put it back up, because I love hearing what you all are thinking, and I definitely don't tell people to reserve it to the end. I just missed that one. So emotional signature and imprint. We all have an emotional signature and imprint, and it's important for us to know how that is, know what it is, so that we can not put the bad stuff onto our children. And then last scope, we talked about dealing with our emotions. We talked about how we must learn to simply observe them and honor them and sit with them and grow from them. Hi, Jamila. Thanks for joining. We also talked about discovering your emotional inheritance. Hello. And basically knowing when we're being triggered. Mom Shar said, I had said that emotions lurking under the surface is such a good point. Hi, yes, I think that was really surprising for a lot of people when I talked about that on the earlier scope, because we all know when we walk into a room and we feel the energy, we feel someone's, tension, we feel when someone is upset, and our kids can feel that too. I usually don't realize how stressed I am acting until the stressor passed. Exactly. That's totally true. And that's why conscious parenting is so awesome for getting us to become more aware of it. Not to derail the combo, have you heard of the child whisperer, learning our kids' energy type? I've heard of that book, but I have not read that book. So thank you. It reminds me to put it in my bookcase. It reminds me to get it and read it. Love the child whisperer. So yes, so we discussed our emotional inheritance, what we have picked up on, how our children trigger us, and we learned basically that our triggers are based on having some unresolved emotion that's left within us. Lolita says, hello, Lolita says, parents aren't aware that triggers within them manifest when kids hit certain ages. Yes, Lolita, that is so true. They manifest all of the time. And especially when you get to those points where kids start pushing back, whether it is tantrums in their toddlerhood or it is talking back maybe in their teens. So that's so true. And then we learned about kind of the simplicity. We started to talk about the simplicity of as-is parenting, which is basically saying you accept everything kind of as is. You accept your children as they are. So today we're going to build on that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can integrate your pain, how you can deal with the emotional pains in your parenting. And there's 3 big points. The first thing is you want to integrate any emotional pain by simply accepting it. So, just like kids are a blank slate, when they have emotions, they naturally feel them, they can surrender them, they ride the emotion kind of like a wave until we put stuff on them. Thank you for the hearts. If something that I'm saying resonates with you, or even because this stuff can be a little weighty, it makes you go, or even makes you question something, please give hearts. But yes, So children, they naturally feel their emotions. As adults, we are afraid oftentimes of our emotions. We try to repress our emotions. We find it really hard to deal with our emotions. We avoid them. We resist them. So that's not the example that we really want to set for our children. We don't want our children to resist their emotions or even intellectualize them. We really want our children to be able to feel them, to embrace them. And a conscious person is not only able to just tolerate their emotions, they embrace them, all of them. It says, and we get frustrated when our kids don't suppress. Exactly. That's so true. It's so true because they don't suppress. They are, they're so new. They're like, the whole term childlike. They don't have filters. They haven't repressed them. They haven't tried to intellectualize them. So we do feel them all. So anyway, a conscious person is not just going to tolerate their emotions. They are going to embrace them, and they are going to seek to feel them all. And there's a difference between feeling our emotions and reacting emotionally. So truly being able to feel our emotion is when we're able to just kind of sit with the emotion. We let it kind of wash over us. We see it. We feel it. We know that it's there, but we don't have to react to it. We don't have to, we can be angry, but it doesn't mean we have to yell. We can feel it, but we don't have to vent. We can sit with it. And oftentimes it's sitting in solitude. Good home trainings. There's a difference between feeling our emotions and react. Thank you. And reacting emotionally. Yes. We want to learn how to witness our thoughts and feelings, and not be so reactionary. And Natural Mom says, teach our children to honor their feelings, digest it, and work through it in bite-sized pieces. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. And when we can process our emotions and feel okay with just sitting with them and feeling okay with letting them come up, because we know it's kind of like an ocean. They will come up and then they will also leave. They will come up, they will go down, they will go away. So when we learn that we can just be with our emotions, they don't overwhelm us. And this gives us a really good place to A, handle emotions for ourselves, but B, also for our children. They both see us dealing with life in a way that is not letting our emotions overwhelm us. And 2, they are picking up on how we are modeling this. And 3, we're not putting stuff on them that's not theirs to take, right? So then the second big point is that we want to teach surrender to how we handle our children's pain. So most of you know, I'm sure all of you that are parents, you know how tough it is to see our child in pain. Shar says, like labor pains ebb and flow, and there for a reason. Exactly. You are foreshadowing my next point. Yes, I love you, Mom Shar. Thank you so much for being here. So, most of us know that it's really difficult as parents to deal with our children's pain, whether it is physical or psychological. I know, like, everything from my child getting its first shots to hurting himself. It's really, thank you. Love you too. It's really, really hard to have our children experience pain. We totally want to rescue them. We want to do something to get rid of the pain. And oftentimes that something, especially if we're not in a really clear place or a neutral place, we actually can in turn solidify their pain, or we can have them end up doing things that start repressing their pain. So, we want our children to master their emotions by actually just surrendering to them. Natural Mom says, I was taught to rescue and I have to fight that urge. Yes, I think we are taught to rescue. I think that, I think somehow if we think that we don't rescue them, that we're not helping them, right? Like if we don't nurture or mother in that way, exactly, mama bear mode, exactly. If we don't jump in, then we're not doing our mom role. So it's like reshifting the way that we think So So surrender in this case means to first accept whatever emotional state we are in and encourage our children to experience their feelings. We invite them to open up a space to allow the pain that's already present to give it room. And I love it. In the book, she gives this really great example, and I think almost everyone can relate to it. So basically, it's a girl that's probably in middle school, I think, age, and she's overweight and has glasses. And of course, kids being sometimes mean how they are, they teased her, they made her feel really, really bad, and she was totally upset. Give it room. Love that, Sesame Star. Thank you. So, you know, instead of the mom, when she hears about this, instead of the mom being like, okay, I acknowledge, how are you feeling? Acknowledge those feelings and let the daughter sit with it. The mom being like a normal normal mom, I feel like mainstream parenting. What do we say? We're gonna go fix it. So the mom then went out and like got the child a nutritionist to help her lose weight. She got her contact lenses to get rid of the glasses. She got both of them therapy and meds for herself to actually deal with all the anxiety and the emotions that came up around them. But she really taught her daughter to sweep the things away that make us cause pain, that cause us pain, that give us emotions that are hard to deal with. Monshar says, by teaching her that she wasn't okay the way she is. Exactly. She told her that how you're feeling and how you're feeling based on what they were saying is justified, because she made it almost a truth. Natural Mom says, we have come from an unconditional space, so they know we love them no matter what their feelings. Exactly. That's exactly it. That's beautiful. That's exactly it. So, you know, in this case, I feel like this case is just beautiful. A beautiful example of kind of like what not to do, but that's human. The mother, you know, tried to fix it in the traditional way, the outer way of fixing it, versus just letting the daughter deal with the painful emotions, and even the mother deal with the painful emotions that probably came up in her around, oh my gosh, I let my daughter become overweight, or oh my gosh, you know, my daughter's hurt somehow and I'm not sure, I cannot fix her emotional pain about it. You know, the mother feels guilty. Hey, hi, Launchpreneurs. Yay, Perry 10K. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. So yes, like the mother actually felt bad. So this example brings up a lot of things, and the child was not even able to really deal with the emotions around their feelings. They weren't able to even release them. So it really shows that when we handle things unconsciously, that we actually can delay even the pain going away. We help solidify it. And in this case, the poor child didn't even really end up dealing with the emotions. So just as a side note, I'm not sure, Mom says, heart this girl up. Thank you. You know, it's important to know, and I think we've been talking about already, is that pains pass. I think it was Mom Shar that said, like labor pains pass. They totally do. Pain is just a sensation. So when our children have this, it's better to say, oh, thank you, Entrepreneur. It's better to just let them have the pain, as much as it is hard for us as mothers and fathers out there to let them feel emotional pain. It's better to let them feel it, surrender to it, and let it pass, rather than addressing outside things in an unconscious manner or placing things on them that cause our children then to get stuck in the pain. And children naturally, because they don't have all this built up mental junk around pain, it actually moves through them very, very quickly. You know, as adults, one of the reasons why we get stuck in the pain is because we've connected it to something in the past. Mom Star says, because next time they know that it will pass and they can cope with it. Exactly. And they know that it was just a passing moment, that this was something that just happened in this period of time. We don't solidify it and then have them become stuck in the past. So one of the things that I know Dr. Shafali had said, which I think is excellent, is she says, when they have pain, we let them talk if they want to talk. We let them be quiet if they want to be quiet. We can acknowledge it even with a nod, just sitting there. And we can also just say something like, I see. Like if they're sad, I see you're sad. I see this is what you're going through right now. This is just what's happening right now. And letting them feel it, not trying to solve it, not trying to move them out of it. And I think this one is really, really hard, but it's really key. Above all, we don't aspire to have our kids be happy all the time. We want them to be authentic. We want them to be able to feel who they are. We don't want them to put on a mask of happiness when they are not happy. Let them be what they are in that moment. And I think that is a little bit countercultural because we want to be happy, we want to be positive all the time. But sometimes we have moments, and it's a moment when we let it pass over us where we are unhappy or we're sad or we're angry. And so the third point and the last point is that becoming non-reactive is really something that happens one step at a time. It really starts with the awareness that the way that we are right now, like just how we are right now, is in fact usually not at all who we really are, but it's a product of our unconsciousness. I actually had to sit with that thought for a while and that teaching for a while. I know a lot of people, they're like, this is just how I am. This is just, this is who I am. This is who I'm always going to be. No, it's not. It's not. Like, it's just a part of you. It's, Natural Mama says, being reactive is the hardest challenge sometimes. It is definitely the hardest challenge, especially when we become conscious that we are reacting, because we don't want to react, but it's natural. And actually, it is the best part of our growth, is because we keep noticing that we are reactive. Thank you so much for the heart. And the process of losing our reactivity accelerates our awareness. So it's like the more that we sometimes react and see it, the more we're able to move ourselves down to learning why we're reacting and stop that cycle. So it's really, really good. So I think it was, there was someone on an earlier scope that actually said, oh, they felt so bad because we were talking about reactivity. And they said they felt so bad because they yelled, but then they noticed that they were yelling and then they stopped. And that's like the best. I mean, of course, we don't want to react at all, but that's not really realistic for most of us, especially when we start. And we're always going to have some egoic reaction that comes up. I think as long as we are alive and on this earth, we are going to have times when we react in a way that we don't want to react. But we know that as we keep practicing these tools, we may yell less. We may, for those people that yell, like for this particular mom, we may yell for shorter periods of time, like, oh, instead of react, or we may start reacting in different ways, and it's like, congratulations. When you start to see yourself, or you start to notice, oh my gosh, I'm yelling, I don't want to do that. And then you reframe, you apologize. You have stepped into the world of being more conscious. You've already made a huge leap into becoming better in this area. As Natural Mama says, we want them to just do what we want them to do, etc., not have to deal with it, but it's big for them. That is so true. Natural Mama, we touched on that in the different types of egoic parenting, like the parent of control, the parent of expectations, the egoic parent of expectation, like do as I say, not as I do. We definitely want them to do what we want them to do, but we know that they need to work through these emotions and things on their, not just on their own, but they need to go through them. They need to go through them. And so I just want us to know that we have to accept, is that in the book you're discussing? It is in the book. We just have to accept that we are going to have moments when we have egoic or unconscious behavior. And for those of you that don't get what unconscious means, it just means like lack of awareness. We're not aware consciously of how we are reacting to other people and to our children. And so I love how Dr. Shefali says that conscious parents live by the dictate, I expect to be triggered, entangled, overwhelmed, and to engage in egoic parenting at times. However, I will use the lessons embedded in these occasions to evolve as a person and to help my children evolve as well. And I think it was Mom Shar who talked about how these, I think she said in a comment how it helps us learn and become wiser. And that's exactly it. That's like the beauty of it. So when we basically are able to stop reacting as our first impulse, when we become more aware that, that we're experiencing an emotion and that it's probably not caused by our children, we can get to a more neutral place. And that neutral place stops us from creating a judgment. Because honestly, it is the judgments in our lives. Yes, you can totally ask questions. It's the judgments in our lives, and it's the interpretations of what's happening with our children that cause us to have emotional pain, that cause us to create all of these dramas around what's going on with our children, around how we feel as a parent, whether we're doing a good job, a bad job, whatever. It's how we're interpreting the situation. So a lot of times, it's really hard to parent our particular child as they are in that moment, because honestly, we've made our interpretation of the situation like he is testing me, this and that, when that may not even be the case. Says, okay, here's what I would like to know. What you just talked about is what my dilemma is. How to know what is too much. I guess my question kind of is what, when you say too much, what are you referring to? So kind of the goal here is to become non-reactive, and how we can become non-reactive, of course, is by pausing, but it's also not being so quick to make a judgment, to label either the situation or the child. Like, oh, my child is just trying to be difficult. Usually our children are not intending to do anything. They are just they're learning. In terms of worrying about whether a child is okay emotionally. Oh, when sharing custody. Wow, that's a really deep question. I think it comes, first of all, you really have to pay attention to your particular child and know kind of their patterns. So, I would suggest, first of all, seeing what feels right for you. I think a lot of times as parents, we know, especially if we can get clear and we're not just being in a reactive place. So you want to make sure you're not in a reactive place, but figure out if it feels like it is too much. And you did mention moms and how we feel internally. Yes. So you want to figure out how you feel. Can that be what they feed off? Oh, yes, it's exactly what they feed off. So we were talking about earlier, I think probably before you jumped on, and I'm so happy you're here, is that emotions oftentimes can even be unseen. And so our children they pick up on all of that, just like our husband or spouse would, our partners, co-workers at work. So it's very important for us first to be clear about what we are putting out. Like, conscious parenting is all about really parenting the parent. It's parenting, growing ourselves up. It is parenting that looks within before we place blame and judgment on our children. It's knowing that we have things to own before we necessarily say our child did anything. It's really about looking within. So that would be, I think, the first step in really trying to figure out what is too much. Really trying to see what comes up for you when your child, or I think it was your son, triggers you. Really trying to sit with that emotion, understand how you are feeling, and then see if that feeling is based on something that you need to own or something that has to do with your child. Mom says, yes, we are a responsible party in the parent-child relationship. We totally are. We definitely are the responsible party. So just to kind of go back through, it's really, for the last point, it's really just key for us to try to not judge and make negative interpretations. Because when we don't make those judgments and interpretations, we come to whatever situation it is with our child, with the relationship, not from a neutral state. And what that does is we Don't attribute anything good or bad. It simply is what it is. And we don't then get into this emotional cycle of our children are doing something to us. Hi, admired Red Rose. Instead, we are just letting it be. And I find that when we are in that place of kind of our mantra, I think we talked about it last week. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Parenting as is, meaning approaching life as it is, approaching our children as they are, and not as we want them to be or how we think life should be. When we do that, it really frees us up. I cannot tell you, it frees us up. So we come to a place of our children are then not just triggering us. Their toddler tantrum, I always say the toddler tantrum that's in Trader Joe's or Target, it's not about us. We then feel like it's not about us. And we're then able to pause and be in a good place to then say, okay, they're not having a good day or whatever it is. Sorry, I just missed that question. They're not having a good day, but it's not about me. And so we're able to react from a neutral place. And that neutral place gives us more creative ideas on how to solve the situation. It approaches them with more love, and we don't end up putting our junk onto them. And we don't get triggered. We don't get ourselves all upset and create this big emotional cycle. So I love that. I love that we can think about our emotions in a new way that really helps us connect with our children. Okay, she says a home where a mom is single. I'm so sorry, I missed the beginning. A home where our mom is single and I think 2 kids on the spectrum. I missed the beginning of it, but thank you so much for the hearts. So basically, just to do a quick recap, is that we are able to deal with emotional pain in parenting and with our children by helping to accept the emotions as they come up, as they rise, as they fall. We just kind of go with the flow. Just think of like an ocean. We let them wash over us. We let them pass through us. Well, yes, this book, yes, it's called The Conscious Parent. This book is great. And then we basically embrace our emotions. Okay, so what I want to know in a home with 1 verbal and second, okay, nonverbal. I'm missing those. Sorry, I think it's difficult to capture all of the question. Okay, so then we want to basically know that we want to accept all the emotions, our emotions, and sit with them, as well as our children's emotions, and sit with them as well, and teach them how. We want to teach our children how to surrender to their pain, and we want to surrender to it as well and not rush in to rescue or to fix it and sometimes end up mistakenly solidifying their pain. We want them to know that pain is just a sensation. Again, it just rises and falls, and we want our children to be okay with being upset. Okay, what can I do when emotions cup have filled up and suddenly we are no longer as patient? That's a really great question. What can you suggest for a recharge? I love that question. 2 boys, love, 1 queen. I'd love to know your name. But basically, that is a key. When you feel like your emotional cup is full, that is the time for you to do some self-care. I talk a lot about self-care for mothers. It really is putting on the oxygen mask for you first. When you are so completely full and overwhelmed, and it's hard to find space to pause. It's hard to not react. When your wire gets short, right? When we have no babysitters, what can we do? You know what? That's so common. So I'm not sure what your situation. I think you said that you were a single mother, so it does become even more challenging. If you are like, let's say that you are at work, or like you're driving to work, you might want to take 15 extra minutes on your commute. Maybe you pull over even before you get home and you do some breathing exercises in your car. When you're going back and forth to work, you want to listen to music that's uplifting. If you are a spiritual person, you might want to tape, mantras scripture, whatever works for you, wherever you are, to help you reconnect back to your quieter place. Yeah, Mom Shar, she's helping her out. You know, it's definitely, I like to ask questions to people's perspectives. Yes, you know, I often have to really do self-care in the shower. You know, I take a bath when I can. I really try to keep little itsy bits. Sometimes it's finding my favorite fruit, having a cup of tea at the end of the day. It's really finding things big and small that we can incorporate in our daily lives that help us. I literally go to the bathroom and cry or pause, and then I do powerful declarations in the mirror. Natural Mom, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I wear headphones in the car while driving and listen to podcasts. That's exactly it. Those are moments of self-care. There are things when we're doing something just for ourselves. It's interesting how it all comes down to individuality and what me decides is going to work. Yes, that's totally what it's about. If I actually have, it's so funny that you say that, two boys. I actually have a list on that I give away called 31 Self-Care Ideas for Mothers. It is awesome. It has 31 ideas to help you think of self-care ideas, or you're welcome to use these. These will help jog your mind and your creativity to find something that works for you. For some people, they're like, meditation works for them. Other people, they're like, how the heck can I get my mind quiet enough to meditate? So they might go jog, or, you know, they might put the baby in the stroller and then go walking outside in nature. There's a lot of different ways, but you have to really, once again, tune back into yourself and figure out what works for you. So if you go to my website, bellaandthebabe.com, and you join the email list, you will get the 31 self-care ideas for mothers. And then if you are looking for a mama community where I share all sorts of tips about self-care, about finding your patience, yeah, you're welcome. About finding your patience, feel free to go to the same website, bellaandthebabe.com/join, and you're welcome to join my free community. It is totally free. I think mamas need mamas. You know, mothers need communities. It says, you are amazing. Bless you for sharing this message. Thank you so much. I am blessed by you all. I really am. So anyway, 2 resources. You have the 31 self-care ideas as well as the mama community. Please feel free to reach out. This is a great scope. Can't wait for the next one. Oh, thank you so much. If there are people that you think could benefit from it, please do share and let people know about it. And I'm really thankful that you all tuned in today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I will be on again this week. I'm always on Mondays and Thursdays. So again, this is Brooke-Sidney with Bella and the Babe. Thank you so much for joining today, and I will see you all soon. And mamas, make some time for self-care. Talk to you later.